BJP candidate Pragya Thakur is on rampage. First, she insulted decorated Ashoka Chakra awardee 2611 Martyr Hemant Karkare. Emboldened after a mere rap on the knuckles from the Election Commission and no action by the BJP party high command, her divisive politics have now hit a new low. She now claims she helped demolish the Babri Masjid and will build the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya.
मैं गई थी, ढांचा तोड़ा था और मैं भव्य मंदिर बनाने जाऊंगी। बिल्कुल पूर्ण आत्मविश्वास के साथ बोल रही हूँ। ये मेरे राम जी हैं, मेरे आदर्श हैं, मेरी श्रद्धा है, मेरी भक्ति है। राम राष्ट्र है, राष्ट्र राम है, इसलिए भव्य मंदिर बनाने से मुझे कोई नहीं रोक सकता।
A terror accused in the Malegaon blast case, Pragya Thakur is out on bail on health grounds. Thakur was granted bail after her medical report to court said that she has breast cancer and is unable to walk without support. Her election campaign, however, shows a different picture. Today, as Pragya Thakur filed her nomination, she was seen interacting with party workers, accepting gifts and honours. Her health, the reason for her bail, seems to have taken a back seat. The only time she was seen on a wheelchair was when she was on her way to file her nomination. Despite nationwide outrage, Pragya Thakur continues to spew hate. Mirror now asks, when will Election Commission act against Pragya Thakur? Should the court revoke Pragya Thakur's bail? Let's debate.
Well, it's a very simple question to ask. At the end of the day, if there is a candidate who willfully and with impunity is spewing venom meant to divide the people of this country before an election, should the Election Commission do more and simply send out show cause notices as it has done right now? Is this evidence really that our Election Commission at this point is toothless or too slow to act? And with every day of delay in the Election Commission's action, Pragya Thakur goes out and makes another statement, perhaps worse than the previous one. On the show with me, Raman Malik of the BJP, Shailesh Gandhi, former CIC, Geeta Bhatt is a professor, Urmilesh is a senior journalist, so is Badshah Sen, who joins me in Mumbai, and Mr. Kailash Vasudev is a senior advocate with the Supreme Court. I welcome all of you to this conversation. Mr. Sen, welcome to Mumbai. It's nice to have you here. We had a conversation when Pragya Thakur's candidature was announced from Bhopal, and obviously there are various theories of why the party did it. But if you see the evidence of the things that she has said over the last 3 or 4 days, is there a pattern emerging here that she's deliberately trying to divide people?
Well, she's upping the ante, certainly. And I mean, she's going on making more and more provocative statements.
Yes.
I wonder who they're supposed to provoke. I presume they're supposed to provoke ordinary human beings who don't understand what she, who may not understand better. So I think that she is playing a sort of divisive role in this election. How much impact it will have in various parts of the country is difficult to tell.
So here's my question. The BJP has put out a statement saying that Sadhvi Pragya's personal statement, which she might have given because of mental and physical torture that she has faced. Now, first of all, as a correction to the BJP, and Mr. Malik, I'll come to you with this, the Supreme Court found no evidence of any sort of torture. The National Human Rights Commission found no evidence of any sort of torture. The magistrate, and just to point out to our audience, when someone is taken before a magistrate to give their statement, the magistrate asks that person repeatedly, are you being forced? Are you being treated well? Are you being, wherever the police is holding you, is the police treating you well? And on 2-3 different occasions, Pragya Thakur said she was okay. So yes, there is a lot of evidence. But for the party that has given her a ticket to turn around and say, these are her personal statements, this is not how we feel. Is that okay?
It is not okay because she has been given the party symbol. Once you have the party symbol, you're supposed to observe a certain kind of decorum, certain kind of discipline, which that party is supposed to impose on you. You can't go flying off the handle and generally shoot off your mouth and say whatever you feel like. You're within the discipline of that party, whether you're in the Congress or the CPI or the BJP or whatever. So first of all, I cannot see how the BJP can, the BJP leadership can wash its hands of whatever she's saying. And it's very, seems to be very, convenient that some things she's saying they have taken objections to. I mean, they did say that Hemant Karkare, they reluctantly conceded that he happens to be a martyr, and they didn't like what she said.
And in the same statement, they said that, but she might have made these statements because she was tortured.
I mean, this is then, if she was tortured and she's in bad health, then she shouldn't be campaigning. I thought that she was out on bail because she was ill. Now, if she is ill, I don't think that she is mentally ill. I think she's physically ill, in which case she should go to hospital.
Yes.
And if she is well, then she should go to jail. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any other thing. And she's provoking people like this.
And if she was tortured, and if she does have a complaint of being tortured, she must approach the courts and take legal action.
Absolutely.
That is the proper route
of
justice. Mr. Kailash Vasudev, there are several, for me personally at least, several questions about where the law stands in all of this, where the model code of conduct stands in all of this. One is the statements that she's made. Second, yes, Mr. Malik, I will bring you in to respond. I want Mr. Vasudev to speak first. The first is the election code of conduct. Second is the statement made about Babri Masjid's demolition.
Let me hear out the total agendas.
Okay. Second is the Babri Masjid demolition, which is the second statement she has made. And, you know, where all of this stands in the eyes of the law, as far as her bail petition is concerned. Mr. Vasudev, go ahead, please.
Good evening. See, there are three aspects to this whole situation. Her nomination has been filed, and the nomination will be scrutinized in accordance with the provisions of the RP Act or the applicable electoral rules. As for the model code of conduct is concerned, we've had debates on your channel earlier. It's a toothless affair at this point of time. Merely granting a show cause notice, calling upon a candidate and telling him that, look, you are exceeding your bounds, you're not acting within the model code, doesn't really take you any place for imposing any kind of a restriction at this stage. There was a point of time when nominations were reconsidered and the like, but after the Supreme Court judgment of 2004, this has stopped. It can't be done. Number three, insofar as conditions of bail are concerned, I really don't know what the conditions of bail are, because bails always impose conditions for the release of a person or enlargement of a person in a particular situation. I have no idea about the conditions of bail, but on the other side, if it is strictly on health grounds, this kind of an action where you are making provocative statements, statements which are not conducive to a secular nation, are a very difficult thing to accept. If somebody was to move an application for cancellation of bail on the ground that the person is abusing the conditions of bail, be it health or otherwise, it is for the courts to decide. Yes. But insofar as the model code of conduct is concerned, as I said, we've had discussions on this before, it's really a moral code without any bite, because it's not been framed statutorily, it's been done by the Election Commission in exercise of its plenary powers. So it is necessary today that we bring about a model code of conduct which has a bite, rather than remain in action as a moral policing authority. You know, it's like going to class. You tell a child you're misbehaving, and that's where it stops, but you cannot take any action against the child. Yes. It's like a kindergarten situation. We are making about an executive order which has no bite.
Yes.
This
in fact,
is
Mr.
an
Vasudev,
area
if I
which
may,
the whole lawmaker should look at. But no politician will look at this.
Yes, if I may please, I have the operative part of the bail order, and if I would, I'd just like to read it out. It says, and I quote, medical certificate annexed to the petition and the written submission show that the appellant is suffering from breast cancer. The medical report of the appellant indicates that she has become infirm and cannot even walk without support. The medical certificate further shows that the appellant is being given treatment in an Ayurvedic hospital. In our opinion, Ayurvedic hospitals cannot give proper treatment to those who are suffering from cancer. Taking, therefore, totality of facts and circumstances, we have considered the option that the appellant made a case for bail under subsection 5 of 43D of the UAP Act. And then it goes on to place a bond of 5 lakh rupees. So, do you think the court, there is room for the court perhaps to take suo motu cognizance of the bail conditions, or whether or not they're being grounds for bail are being flouted?
See, in bail petitions, courts don't take suo motu action.
Okay.
The prosecution has to move the court. Because the prosecution says you granted bail on these conditions. There is a breach of the conditions, so therefore cancel it. The courts do not take suo motu cognizance. I'm not aware of any case
Yes.
in which
Well,
suo
let
motu
me
notice
also
has been
tell you that
taken
in
to
this
cancel
case,
bail.
the prosecution did not oppose
It is for the
bail to begin with.
prosecution.
The prosecution, which is the NIA, and the NIA did not oppose the bail plea and actually said it had no objections. So I doubt that that prosecution is going to come forward at this point and place any objections. But let me bring in Mr. Raman Malik. He wanted an opportunity to speak. Mr. Malik, go ahead. Do you believe at this point?
Come in for a
Yes, all right. Mr. Vasudev, finish making your point and then I'll bring in Mr. Malik. Mr. Vasudev, go ahead.
30 seconds, what I'm saying is that, you see, in today's situation where politicians are involved in criminal offences of however minor or however major in nature, there is no action which is taken by government, especially if they are political candidates at election times. Technically, such persons should not be allowed to contest elections if you follow the moral code of conduct and if you follow the principles of morals which apply to elections. Time and again, it has been announced that people who have got criminal cases against them should not be allowed to participate in elections. But what happens is, with the change in systems, you have to make a declaration of the cases pending against you, and yet you contest the elections. I mean, where is the moral in this?
Yes, absolutely. Mr. Malik, a couple of questions. Do you believe the EC should be doing more across party lines, really, for anyone who's breaking the code at this point? Should the EC be taking stronger action?
First of all, Faye, if you all are through with the agenda that you have, let me answer a couple of things. It was very clearly stated that this is not the opinion of BJP about when it came to Hemant Karkare's affair, and it was her comments based on what she may have gone through. Also, we must not forget, while we respect Hemant Karkare for going through and taking bullets on his chest, that part of his martyrdom, his service to the nation, is one individual act, and what he could or could not have done previously is another part, which you have to treat individually, not
Mr.
collectively.
Malik, the court has already looked at that part, and the court has dismissed. The court has dismissed.
Please, can you let me finish? Faye,
No,
I will not
won't allow you to lie.
That you have your agenda and you will not let the other person narrate his point.
Okay, narrate your point. I will rebut your points point by point, and I want to warn you one more time, if you're going to say anything about Hemant Karkare, there is Supreme Court judgments in this matter about the fact that there was no evidence whatsoever of torture.
I know what my limits are, Faye. I very well know what my limits are, and I'm well within the law to state that two acts cannot be clubbed. Where he is a martyr, yes, he is respected, and if there's anything else beyond that particular incident, that would always be treated separately in the court of law, in the eyes of the law. And I am not here, and you may impose as many Supreme Court guidances if you can have any to prove me wrong. I challenge you. Okay. Second, must understand this also. Ram Mandir is an issue of Astha of over 100 crore Indians. Even I was there on 6th December 1992. Right? I was there in Ayodhya. Now, is it a sin to be there?
Did you demolish the Babri Masjid, Mr. Raman Malik? Is that what you're saying? I believe the police are looking for these people. Are you saying that you were part of the demolition group?
I was there. I was very much there when that... I was very much there.
Were you part of the demolition group like Ms. Pragya Thakur claims to be? She says she was part of the group that carried out the demolition.
I am not supposed to answer each and everything that you intend to. I am not supposed to answer each and every pin and points that you want me to. I am
Let me just remind you, Mr. Malik, I believe the police is still looking for those people who were part of the group who conducted the demolition. So I would advise you to be careful of what you're saying.
I would also advise you that here you are not dealing with a Rahul Gandhi.
Huh?
I never deal with Rahul
Okay.
Gandhi. But
So,
that has nothing
let's
to
get
do with
back
what
to
I
the
just
topic.
said. You just claimed to be in Ayodhya when the Babri Masjid was demolished. My question
So
to you
there's
was, were
always
you
an
part of the
intellect
group that
level.
demolished it?
I was there. I do not intend to answer your question.
Okay.
On
Now,
that.
here's my next question. Pragya Thakur claims
It's
she
the
was part of
third
the group
point,
that
which is
demolished
very
it.
important.
Should the police be looking for her?
That is based on whatever evidences they can produce on it.
What about a national television televised confession?
If that is the case, why were people asking? No, if that was the case, why were a lot of people whom you may not be very harsh towards, were asking whether Balakot happened, how it happened, whatever, and then Jash took the responsibility. But
No.
again, that was
Mr. Malik,
left because, okay,
Mr. Malik,
that is some
Pragya Thakur
Jash.
accepted on
So let's come back
television
to what we
that
were
she was
discussing.
part of the troop that demolished Babri Masjid. Should the police take action against her? Or shouldn't the police
Then
take
why
action
are you
against
okay
her?
with those people? Why are you okay with those people? Rahul Gandhi categorically in a rally on the national television on multiple channels said that, oh, Chaukidar, Supreme Court has said, remember? And by just mere saying that, oh, I'm sorry, does he get resolved of it?
I believe the court will make that decision, but we have carried that story, Mr. Malik. Let me ask the question again. Pragya Thakur today on television accepted that she was part of the demolition group of Babri Masjid. Is that against the law?
Is it okay by your standards? Let me ask you something, Faye.
You're not answering any of the questions. You keep
standards
asking
that
counter
one
questions.
person, when he wants to become a prime minister, over 1 million people are killed. One person, when they want to continue as a prime minister, there is a death of democracy. Democracy is hanged by death. One person, when he wants to take revenge of his mother, 4,000 people get killed. Those are not acts of terror. They are acts of sainthood, isn't it?
Mr. Raman Malik, Pragya Thakur today has accepted to be part of the demolition troop that demolished the Babri Masjid. Do you believe that the police ought to take action against her?
I think the law will always act on its own, the way it has to.
Next question, Mr. Malik. In 2014, the BJP's main promise for the election was Vikas or development. In this election, it is a dharam yudh or a religious war. Why the change and where is Vikas?
Point is, Faye, that there are two things. There are certain people who are absolute Rahul Gandhis, but then there are certain people I deemed they were very sensible. Have you gone through the manifesto of BJP?
We all have.
Almost 70-80 times there is word development written. What we have done, we've already given a report card, but 70-80 times there's the word development written. Go and check how many times has the Congress written it in their manifesto. When it comes to Dharam Yudh, Dharma is two ways. Dharma is also religion and Dharma is also righteousness. Yes, it is a Dharam Yudh. It is a righteousness, a fight for righteousness. It is a fight for developing India. It is a fight for making India Vishguru. It is a fight for making India corruption-free. It is a fight for making India self-reliant. It is a fight for making India with these people who divide India, getting rid of them. Yes, it is a Dharam Yudh.
We must get rid of the people who divide India. I completely agree with you, Mr. Malik. Last question. What part of Pragya Thakur's background gives you confidence that she will be good for the development of this country? What experience does she have? And why do you believe that putting her in parliament and giving her the ability to make laws in this country will be good for this country? What are her qualifications?
I think when you start talking on qualification, Faye, you must go back and read the philosophies, the narratives, and what Nehru stood for and what Kamaraj stood for. They were both from the same party. One was a barrister and one was an uneducated person. Now, I will give you a current day's example.
A
I
fairly
believe
straightforward
that
question.
if you have a conversation between the two, one who's aspiring to be just an MP and the second who's aspiring to be the Prime Minister, you will get your answers.
No, Mr. Malik, quite frankly, I will get my answers when you choose to answer them, which you have obviously decided not to do today. Let me just open this up to the rest of the panel. Mr. Shailesh Gandhi, former Chief
No,
Information...
I have given you a very clear answer.
Okay,
I
fair
think
enough.
she's
All
far
right,
better
so we
than
will
somebody
function
who's
with those
aspiring
questions.
to be
We'll
the
function with your answers right now. Urmilesh ji, आपने अभी सुना मिस्टर रमन मलिक का आंसर क्या है, लेकिन उससे पहले प्रज्ञा ठाकुर की जितने सारे जो कमेंट्स थे, क्या आपको लग रहा है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन को एक्शन लेनी चाहिए, क्योंकि अभी तक नोटिस के अलावा और कुछ नहीं हुआ है?
देखिए, प्रज्ञा ठाकुर ने जो कई बयान दिए हैं उसमें मुख्य रूप से जो 3 पहलू हैं वो मैं समझता हूं कि बहुत ही मुश्किल और बहुत आपत्तिजनक हैं। पहला तो उन्होंने जो कहा कि ये धर्म युद्ध है, चुनाव को अपने इलेक्शन को, अपने इलेक्टोरल बैटल को उन्होंने बताया कि ये धर्म युद्ध है। दूसरा, उन्होंने कहा कि जो करकरे साहब थे वो उनके श्राप से मरे और वो कुटिल थे, देशद्रोही थे, धर्म विरोधी थे। और तीसरी बात जो उन्होंने कही वो ये कि बाबरी मस्जिद तोड़ने में मैं भी गई थी, गुंबद पर चढ़कर मैंने वो चलाए थे, क्या बोलते हैं, कुदाल वगैरह जो भी, तो और इस पर उन्हें गर्व है। तो ये 3 जो उनके क्लेम हैं, उनके दावे हैं, उनके बयान हैं, ये रिकॉर्ड्स पर हैं। ये इसको वो कह नहीं सकती हैं कि नहीं हमने ऐसा नहीं कहा। उन्होंने अपने भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेताओं के दबाव में आकर ये ज़रूर कहा कि भाई करकरे साहब के बारे में जो उन्होंने बात कही थी वो उसको वापस लेती हैं, लेकिन उन्होंने फिर ये दोहराया कि करकरे साहब के बारे में उनकी जो आपत्ति है, उनका जो ये गुस्सा है वो इन कारणों से है, और बीजेपी के नेताओं ने भी उनके गुस्से को वाजिब बताया एक हद तक, काफ़ी हद तक। अब मेरा ये कहना है कि एक निर्वाचन आयोग ने जिसकी बैकग्राउंड ये है, जिसका प्रेसिडेंट ये है एक ज़माने का, कि उसने बाल ठाकरे को मुंबई में चुनाव समय, बम्बई कहा जाता था उस समय, चुनाव लड़ते समय, और इसी तरह का सांप्रदायिक विद्वेष जिसकी तीव्रता, इंटेंसिटी इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं थी, जिसमें इतनी घृणा और नफरत नहीं थी जितनी प्रज्ञा ठाकुर के बयान में है, और तब उनको बाहर कर दिया था चुनाव की प्रक्रिया से, यहां तक कि मतदान करने से भी उनको रोक दिया था। ये 99 की बात है। अब मेरा ये कहना है कि आज का निर्वाचन आयोग अगर प्रज्ञा सिंह ठाकुर जो बात कह रही हैं और वो स्वयं आतंकी हिंसा की एक अभियुक्त हैं, प्रमुख अभियुक्त हैं, और जिनके बारे में उस वक्त की सरकारी वकील रोहिणी साल्यान ने ये तक कह दिया कि किस तरह से उनके ऊपर दबाव था एनआईए का नाम लिया, कि किस तरह उन पर दबाव था कि कैसे केस को हम ऐसे करें ताकि इनका बचाव हो सके। मुझे लगता है कि इस मामले में भारत के निर्वाचन आयोग को न्यायालय कुछ करे, इससे पहले निर्वाचन आयोग को कदम उठाना चाहिए था। ऐसा न करने की वजह से निर्वाचन आयोग की छवि पहले से जो खराब हुई है पिछले कई महीनों से, वो और ज्यादा खराब हुई है। इतने दिन बीत गए फिर भी प्रज्ञा सिंह ठाकुर पर कोई कार्रवाई न होना, सिर्फ एक नोटिस भेजना या एफआईआर की बात करना। लेकिन मैं समझता हूं कि ये ऐसा निर्वाचन आयोग को किसी कीमत पर नहीं करना चाहिए था जो वो कर रहा है, और सिर्फ प्रज्ञा ठाकुर के बारे में नहीं कर रहा है। उसने 4 नेताओं को पिछले दिनों जो भी दंड दिया वो क्या था, 48 घंटे से 72 घंटे के बीच में उनको प्रचार नहीं करना है। लेकिन वे 4 नेता थे, मेनका गांधी थे, योगी आदित्यनाथ थे, आजम खान थे, मायावती जी थी। लेकिन देश के प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी और अमित शाह जी जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अध्यक्ष हैं, दोनों जिस तरह से सांप्रदायिक विद्वेष भरी बातें अपने अखबारों में,
उर्मिलेश जी, मुझे एक सवाल पूछना है। हमारे पैनल पे एक बहुत सीनियर वकील है मिस्टर कैलाश वासुदेव हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए। मिस्टर वासुदेव, हियर्स द क्वेश्चन, लीगली एट द एंड ऑफ द डे फॉर समवन,
क्या करा जाए?
वन सेकंड मिस्टर मालिक, Mr. Vasudev, for someone to accept on national television that they were present during the demolition of the Babri Masjid, they actually took part in the demolition, Is that illegal? Should the police be looking for the people who demolished the Babri Masjid? Where does the law stand on that?
It's a confession. It's a blatant confession that I have done this. And it's in the public view. So what more evidence do you require? A confession of this kind, made in public or even to an individual, a confession is a confession. Action can be initiated on this. The law is very specific and clear. If still the law doesn't take its course, well, we know where we stand. It's a sad, I mean, it's very strange that with these kind of confessions coming, no one is moving for cancellation or bail, no one is taking steps otherwise, everything is being kept in limbo. Does the election enable us, or the election process enable us, to grant this kind of immunity from prosecution? We are seeing that happening today. The Election Commission has nobody in this matter because it has nothing to do with the pending court cases. But the prosecution can definitely come up.
Mr. Gandhi?
And it should.
Yes, it should. The prosecution should come out.
It will give an impression of freedom. I mean, this is, yes.
Yes. Mr. Gandhi, your comment, please.
Incidentally, I had the privilege of meeting Hemant Karkare on 2 different occasions, and he was a wonderful person and a thorough gentleman. And it pains me and it pains the nation. The BJP keeps talking of traitors. The BJP keeps talking of martyrs. And here's a martyr who's being vilified by Pragya Thakur in a very, very, very despicable manner. I think the message being given across is that let us win this election, we can do what we please. Law can be damned, we will not bother about niceties, and we can put across people who will blatantly say, I destroyed Babri Masjid and nobody can touch them. So long as they follow the ruling party, nothing can happen to them. The laws will not operate. You've been asking, can they be arrested? Obviously they should be arrested. I mean, it's not a question of can they must be arrested. Also, can the EC do something? I still recall what the EC had done to Mr. Bal Thackeray. Does the EC have lesser powers now than it had in that time? I don't think so. It is just that the Election Commission is not exercising the powers that it already has. Whenever it wants to, it can exercise powers, and if it exercised all the powers that they had, then I think we would have a better election, which they are not doing. They are failing, and they seem to be siding on the side of the ruling party. To come back to Pragya Thakur, she has admitted publicly that she, according to her, her sharp, her curse killed Hemant Karkare. What an absurd claim and what a disgusting claim. Running down the martyr of a nation which the entire nation respects Hemant Karkare. And the BJP is saying, yes, we respect Hemant Karkare, but we'll also abuse him, and that's fine. Tomorrow they'll abuse all the martyrs and say, well, that's our personal view. We don't like them. We don't like their faces. This is absurd and ridiculous, and I think the whole nation must hold BJP to account.
Yes.
And if Pragya Thakur wins this election, it will be a big
Sharma,
slap
was he
on us.
martyred or not?
And the way they are going,
What was Mohan Chand Sharma? Was he martyred or not?
Mr.
No,
Malik,
just
why
a
are you
minute.
shouting?
You will
Just
not
a minute.
answer, sir, because it does
Just
not
a minute.
suit your
Just a
agenda.
minute.
It does not suit your agenda.
I
What
am
was
saying
Mohan
it
Chand
is not my
Sharma?
agenda, sir.
Why did you not utter a word
Mr.
on
Malik.
Sonia Gandhi crying on him?
Mr. Malik,
When Sonia Gandhi was crying that
Mr.
those
Malik,
boys are killed,
do
and
you
Mohan
shout
Chand
every-
Sharma's martyrdom
No, no,
was
Mr.
not
Malik,
even
Mr. Malik,
bothered
just one
about?
second. Let me just point out, for the benefit of
Yes,
our
I
audience,
do.
the panelists who are on
Mohan
the
Chand
channel,
Sharma
just
was
one second,
killed,
Mr. Gandhi.
very
Mr.
fair,
Shailesh
called me
Gandhi,
for a
who is a very
discussion.
senior RTI activist, who is the Chief Information Officer of India. Mr. Badshah Sen and Mr. Urmilesh are very senior journalists, and Mr. Kailash Vasudev is a very senior Supreme Court
political
lawyer.
appointment, ma'am.
They have all been
It's
on
not
this
a-
channel several
it's not
times,
anything else,
and none
it's a
of them have
political
any
appointment
sort
also.
of leaning. Ms. Geeta Bhatt is a professor. Ms. Bhatt, I want your comments on the matter as well. Do you agree with the panelists who have spoken up till now, or do you disagree? Go ahead.
Well, Faye, with all due respect to all the senior panelists, who are there on this program today, you see there are few points which I would like to put forth.
Yes.
In October 2008, if, a woman is put inside jail and along with her there are some others also who are accused for the Malegaon blast of 2008, and it is put under, these are few facts which I would like to just quickly go on. So I hope you'll give me time to speak. So, and it was done under the Makoka Act. Now, the Makoka Act, when the Makoka court sat down in 2009 itself, it had dismissed all the charges and said that there is not, relevant evidence or substantial evidence for the case to go ahead. But the then government, they said that no, that is not true. We are going to challenge it and take it to the court, to the higher courts. And please remember that the Makoka Act very specifically can only be applied when there is a, there is an organized crime. And because of that reason, it was found that all those who had been accused for this particular case, none of them, some of them were there who had been accused for the first time, and a few of them were there who had some kind of a case, only one or so case against them, because of which the court felt that the Makoka court felt. However, it was challenged by the then government, and henceforth, it went for a long time and then into the Supreme Court, but ultimately, even what the judgment came, the judgment which came at that time, and for which the NIA had filed the charge sheet as late as in 2011. These are some of the facts. And even the Supreme Court, when it came out, they have been given a clean sheet on the Makoka Act. That is one particular fact. Now from 2008 to 2016-17, till she got her bail from the High Court in 2016, till that time, for so many years together, none of the charges could be proved against her. I mean, isn't it a little strange that how it was possible?
Ms. Bhatt?
Also, I would like to add to, you read that it was on medical grounds that she was given the bail.
Yes.
Of course, there was that reason, but there were some other reasons. And I would also like to read just in 10 seconds, point number 115 of the, the High Court decision of 2016, which categorically says that so far as the appellant is concerned, it cannot be said that there are reasonable grounds for believing that accusation made against her are prima facie true. Once it is held so, then the benefit of bail cannot be withheld to the appellant. This also is a part of that judgment, which I thought that the other panelists should know. So the point is that as per law, we see there is a rule of law and we need to have faith in it. So she has, as a citizen of this country, and as per our constitution, she has a right to file a nomination for and to contest an election, just like so many other people are doing. When Kanhaiya Kumar can do it from Begusarai, when there are so many other people like Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, who are already out on bail, when they can go and fight.
Ms. Bhatt, just one quick question.
Remember that in these cases, in Sonia and Rahul Gandhi's case, already there is a charge.
Ms. Bhatt, I just want to point out one thing.
There is evidence which is there. In
Ms.
her
Bhatt?
case, there has been no evidence which substantial evidence. So, what is, yes please.
I just want to point out one thing. I found no trace of this 2009 dismissal of all charges that you're talking about. Ms. Bhatt, you'll have to listen to the counter question, please.
The process of demonization of Sadhvi Pragya, that is something which is not right. The law will take its own course.
Ms. Bhatt, please listen to the question.
If there is anything in it further, we'll come to know about it.
Can she hear me? Okay, Ms. Bhatt, here's fine, and I'll go across the panel and we'll talk about the merits of the case. But let's say everything else is a lie. But on television today, she has accepted to personally, with her own hands, demolishing the Babri Masjid, which is against the law. Shouldn't the police take action?
Well, Faye, you see, the law will take a course as depending upon the evidence and asking her the statement that she has given. But one thing has to be kept in mind, that when that Babri demolition took place, at that time there were many leaders who were arrested. Mr. Advani, so whether it was Uma Bharti, that the charges they went on. We all know about the background of what all happened at that time. But this is also a fact that there were many people who were killed, like Kothari brothers, who were shot down.
No, I don't understand. Don't obfuscate the issue. I'm asking you about the comment that Pragya Thakur has made on television today. Don't give me a history lesson. Shouldn't the police take action against someone who claims and confesses on national television to have been there and to have actually carried out the demolition with her own two hands? These are people the police are looking for. These are people the police are actually investigating at this point and proving charges in court. Here we have a live confession. Somehow the police seems to have missed it, Mr. Sen. Now I just want to open this up to the rest of the panel to respond to what Geeta Bhatt said. Mr. Sen, do you have a response?
Ms. Bhatt, I'd like to point out to you that last week when Pragya Thakur filed her nomination, or when she was selected, this precise argument took place in this studio, and all of us, at least myself and Mr. Bharat Rao, we both pointed out that under the law, no action could be taken against Pragya Thakur. Nothing could be done to prevent her from filing nominations. We raised the issue of Mr. George Fernandez, who was accused of a Baroda dynamite case long before perhaps you were born, during the emergency. He filed his nomination from jail. I raised the question of Kanhaiya Kumar. So kindly do not cast these aspersions on
also.
So
he won
then,
that
no. You were passing moral judgment on me. And I'm trying to remind you that this I didn't do. I was perfectly fair.
No, I'm not passing, sir. I'm just stating a fact.
I mean, we've discussed
this. You gave an example.
We just have Mr. Sen, please.
The second point I'm making, that is fine. We've said that what's good, what's legal for one has to be legal for the other. We understand. Okay, so that's not the point. We have moved on since then. We are not talking about the legality or illegality of her incarceration, her release, and so on. We are now talking about this present juncture after she has filed her nomination. She is going around saying things about Hemant Karkare, who cannot defend himself. He is dead. All right? You do not attack a dead person, at least in any civilized society, and that includes Hindu civilized society. Second point is that if you have made a statement saying you went with your own hands and demolished the Babri Masjid, senior people like Mr. L.K. Advani, Mr. Murli Manohar Joshi, members of the same party, are still under trial for that. This lady seems to have got scot-free. Again, what's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. If Mr. Advani is facing trial, if Mr. Murli Manohar Joshi is facing trial, and at that advanced age, why should she not face trial? I'm just saying I'm being as fair as possible. Fair to Kanhaiya Kumar, fair to Pragya Thakur, fair to L.K. Advani, unfair to Pragya Thakur, right?
Yes, I also want to point out a couple of things. Ms. Geeta Bhatt talked about these cases the charges being dismissed in 2009. No such thing happened. In fact, the ATS was in control of the case. The ATS framed the charges. They were accepted by the court. The charge sheet was in fact ready. And it was only in 2014 that this case was transferred to the NIA.
The bail of 2016.
And then, no, she said 2009. I've written it down, in fact.
If I'm not wrong, I heard it was bail of 2016. Faye, correct me.
And in the bail of 2016, even though the NIA had not opposed the bail, let me remind you, the NIA had filed a charge sheet saying that they had no evidence against Pragya Thakur. This is after the statements to the magistrate went missing in court. The paperwork went missing. The court then said that even though the NIA says it has no evidence, the court themselves had heard enough evidence to believe that all charges could not be dismissed. The court granted bail but maintained the charges, and these are the charges she is currently facing in court. She has not been acquitted of the charges. That case is still on. But did the
court say this? What Geeta ji quoted, Faye, what Geeta ji quoted, she could not be quoting through the thin air.
Okay,
it is part of some judgment. She's marked the point also.
Okay.
Now, my point to you is, if that has happened, you're also questioning the court of inquiry that had conducted by the army and in re-inducting Colonel Purohit.
This is nothing
So
to
are
do.
you re-questioning also that
Okay,
part
no,
of it? Are you revisiting that also in your debate?
Mr. Raman Malik, stay on point. Urmilesh ji, go ahead.
I am being very much on the point, ma'am.
नहीं, देखिए, बादशाह ने जो कहा मैं पूरी तरह सहमत हूं उनकी राय से। उसको आगे बढ़ाते हुए बस मैं ये कहना चाहता हूं कि जो गीता जी ने कहा, जो तकनीकी सवाल कानून से जुड़े हुए उठा रही हैं, वो ऑलरेडी उसके बारे में बहुत सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्री प्रूफ के साथ बातें आ चुकी हैं। अगर आप एडवोकेट रोहिणी साल्यान का पूरा इंटरव्यू न जाने कितने अखबारों, कितनी मैगजीनों में छपा है, और अभी जबकि प्रज्ञा ठाकुर ने ये बयानबाजी की है कैंडिडेट बनने के बाद, तब भी रोहिणी साल्यान ने देश के कुछ प्रमुख टेलीविजन चैनलों पर और अखबारों को इंटरव्यू देकर बड़े साहसिक ढंग से उन्होंने ईमानदारी से अपनी बातें कही हैं। यहाँ तक कि एनआईए के रोल पर भी उन्होंने बहुत तफसील के साथ बातचीत की है। मेरा ये कहना है कि हम ये नहीं कह रहे हैं कि उनके चुनाव लड़ने के अधिकार को कोई चुनौती दे रहा है। जब तक उनको कन्विक्ट नहीं किया जाता, उनका चुनाव लड़ने का अधिकार सुरक्षित है। लेकिन आप ये बताइए कि ये कौन सी राजनीतिक नैतिकता है? आप नैतिकता की भी बात करते हैं, आप संस्कृति की बात करते हैं, आप भारतीय संस्कृति की भी बात करते हैं, और आपके इस नैतिकता और भारतीय संस्कृति का वो कौन सा मूल्यबोध है जिसके तहत आतंकवाद की एक मुलजिम को, एक अभियुक्त को आप न केवल उम्मीदवार बना रहे हैं, बल्कि उसके तमाम क्रिमिनल ऑफेंस में लिप्त होने को डिफेंड भी कर रहे हैं। जैसे उन्होंने कहा कि हम बाबरी मस्जिद डिमोलिशन में शामिल थे। अरे भाई, क्यों नहीं केस उन पर होनी चाहिए? दूसरी बात एक और मैं कहना चाहता हूं, बिल्कुल अंतिम बात, कि देखिए, एक जमाने में जब मैं एनडीए भी हमने थोड़े दिन कवर किया था, बहुत पुराने समय, और उस समय अंग्रेजी अखबारों के बड़े जो संपादक या बड़े जो कमेंटेटर्स होते थे या एनालिस्ट होते थे, वो कहते थे एक बात कि भाई इस देश में कुछ फ्रिंज एलिमेंट्स हैं लेकिन और लोग ठीक हैं। तो आडवाणी जी की, अटल जी की एक बहुत लिबरल, बहुत शानदार इमेज बिल्ड की जाती थी एडिटोरियल्स में, एनालिसिस में, रिपोर्ट्स में, और कहा जाता था कि ये कटियार, विनय कटियार या 2-4 लोग हैं, फ्रिंज एलिमेंट्स हैं। आज हालत ये हो गई है देश की राजनीति में, खासकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की तरफ से, कि फ्रिंज एलिमेंट्स ही मुख्य धारा बन गए हैं, मेन स्ट्रीम बन गए हैं। और उसमें देखिए, केवल प्रज्ञा ठाकुर एक नहीं है, चारों तरफ प्रज्ञा ठाकुर हैं, चारों तरफ प्रज्ञा ठाकुर हैं। कौन क्या बयान दे रहा है, कौन किस तरह की, इलेक्शन कमीशन ने कहा कि कोई भी पाकिस्तान और हिंदुस्तान की बात नहीं करेगा, सेना का कोई भी इस्तेमाल नहीं करेगा अपने भाषणों में। हो क्या रहा है? देश के संवैधानिक पोस्ट पर बैठे लोग, सबसे उच्च पदों पर बैठे लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? क्या इस देश में इलेक्शन कमीशन, जो एक जमाने में टीएन शेषन के दौरान जो उसने प्रतिष्ठा पाई थी, पूरी दुनिया में कहा जाता था कि इंडियन डेमोक्रेसी बहुत मैच्योर तो नहीं है, लेकिन इलेक्शन कमीशन यहां का मैच्योर है। माफ कीजिएगा, जवाहरलाल नेहरू विश्वविद्यालय में जो इलेक्शन कमीशन है ना, वो भारत के इलेक्शन कमीशन से ज्यादा मैच्योर, ज्यादा स्ट्रांग और ज्यादा ईमानदार है। कैसे? जेएनयू के लड़के पूरे इलेक्शन कमीशन को इलेक्ट करते हैं, पूरी जनरल बॉडी जेएनयू स्टूडेंट्स की इलेक्शन कमीशन नियुक्त करती है। भारत का इलेक्शन कमीशन सिर्फ भारत की सरकार नियुक्त करती है। आप अगर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन आर्टिकल 324 देख लीजिए कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की, भारत के राष्ट्रपति बनाते हैं। राष्ट्रपति कहां से बनाते हैं? सरकार बनाती है। सीबीआई का डायरेक्टर भी जब बनता है तो उसमें प्रधानमंत्री, अपोजिशन लीडर और चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया शामिल हैं, जो कि संवैधानिक संस्था नहीं है सीबीआई, लेकिन भारत की सर्वोच्च महत्वपूर्ण संवैधानिक संस्था जो 130 करोड़ लोगों के मुल्क में और चुनाव कराती है, वो इलेक्शन कमीशन सिर्फ सरकार नियुक्त करती है। मुझे लगता है आज मौका है कि इलेक्शन कमीशन पर बातें हों, इलेक्शन कमीशन की कैसे पुनर्गठन किया जाना चाहिए, इस डिबेट को मैं समझता हूं कि देश में एक बड़ी बहस के रूप में लिया जाए, क्योंकि अगर सत्ता कुछ हाथों में केंद्रित हो जाएगी और किसी प्रचंड बहुमत की कोई सरकार बनेगी जहां पर डेमोक्रेसी सिकुड़ जाएगी, वैसे में इलेक्शन कमीशन को बहुत इजीली मैनिपुलेट किया जा सकता है। आज
एक मिनट उर्मिलेश जी, let me just bring in Mr. Vasudev, if Mr. Vasudev can hear me, and we should be brave enough to ask these questions.
Yeah, I can hear
and Mr. Urmilesh is absolutely right. In the last 3 days, the Prime Minister of our country, while on campaign, has said 3 things. One, he mentioned Wing Commander Abhinandan, and he said that when Abhinandan was in Pakistan's captivity, I told Pakistan, you release him or else. Second point, he mentioned nuclear warheads and said, we haven't kept nuclear warheads in India we haven't saved them for Diwali night. And the third point is that he called on the blasts and the terror in Sri Lanka and said that it doesn't happen in India because of the government that we have, and when you go into vote, you must keep that in mind. Is this in violation of the moral code of conduct?
See, there are circulars which have been issued by the Election Commission. There were earlier circulars, I think of 2004, which were subsequently amended, prohibiting the use of or reference to the defense forces and their achievements. There's a violation, as you just mentioned, clear violation of those norms and the directions issued by the Election Commission. If the Election Commission wants, and I think it should initiate appropriate action under the Model Code of Conduct and the circulars which it has issued. My journalist friend made a very poignant statement that the Election Commission is now on the decline over the years after Session and the others who came in between, who stood up to a lot of situations. Mr. Gill, he did a remarkable job. There are others who have, Mr. Qureshi and all that, have done a remarkable job as election commissioners. One biggest difficulty which we are facing with the Election Commission today is the nature of appointments. Till the nature of appointments are not regulated by statute, till they are not put into a particular perspective, till people who are not government servants are appointed to this position, you will always have this kind of an attitude that they will bend somewhere or the other. When election commissions bend, the system bends, the election takes a hit. The credibility of the system then comes into question. And today, the Election Commission is coming into a lot of flack and questions because you look at this, almost a couple of 1,000 crores have been recovered in cash. On the last occasion we mentioned, Mr. Mendiratta was on the panel with you.
Yes.
He said that the position is that the Election Commission can only recommend an action, but it doesn't follow it up. Why doesn't it follow it up? It is at its behest that this particular thing has taken place. It should follow it up. Prosecution should be taken to its final conclusions. I mean, you're speaking of thousands of crores going into elections. You have a ceiling, you have a limit on the amount of expenditure an individual candidate can incur in a particular constituency. Those have all gone to, God knows, they've gone to smithereens. Each election is an investment by a political person, by an individual to earn it back as he goes along. Now, keep all this in mind.
Yes.
The Election Commission has to wake up to these situations. It has got to bring about, it has got to recommend laws to the President. It has got to recommend to the political parties, look, this is a nation where we should not permit all this to happen. We are the world's largest democracy. Do you want to maintain it the world's largest democracy with a sense of pride? Or do you want to put your head down and say, no, we are the world's largest democracy? No, it doesn't work that way.
Yes, very well said. I just want to point out to our audience that the violations...
We've got to maintain that dignity.
Yes, the violations of the codes have also been done by Azam Khan, and today his son, who also has to be held accountable. Mr. Milan Deora has received a notice. Ghulam Nabi Azad has received a notice. Chandrababu Naidu has been found to be in violation of the code. Mayawati, Maneka Gandhi, and of course, Mr. Adityanath, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh. It almost seems at this point as if the code doesn't matter and people are just going out and doing what they're doing. At one point, we saw, Pasha said, we saw the Election Commission show some action, and this is after the Supreme Court pointed out, why aren't you doing anything? And they sent censures then to Yogi Adityanath and to Mayawati, and they banned them for, and Maneka Gandhi banned them for certain days. Do you believe that's not enough? Because it doesn't seem to have put the fear of the law in anybody else.
Well, the point is that it went thus far and no further. I would have expected that even if they did what they did to Adityanath, if they did the same thing to Pragya Thakur, that would have been a nice lesson. Now, if they can tell the Chief Minister of a state
Yes.
to keep quiet
Yes.
for 72 hours, they can surely tell a candidate who's nothing as of now to keep quiet for another 72 hours. Even that they don't seem to have done.
But they have sent her show cause notice after
Show cause notice doesn't seem. They took instant action against Adityanath. They acted against Maneka Gandhi and Mayawati.
Yes.
Suddenly, I don't know what happened.
What happened to them?
I mean, we all thought they'd grown a spine, and then suddenly it's collapsed again. I don't know.
Mr. Gandhi, go ahead.
The Election Commission seems to believe that it's a notice commission.
You're not giving me a chance
Primarily,
to
it
speak.
issues notice, and once in a way, they take some action.
She will not. It is her agenda.
Once in a way, they do take some action.
Freedom of expression on her show.
One second. Everybody gets a chance to speak. Ms. Bhatt, as soon as Mr. Gandhi is done speaking, I will come straight to you. Mr. Gandhi, please finish.
Thank you.
What the previous two speakers, Mr. Vasudev and Mithilesh, mentioned is extremely important, and I would also like to raise this issue. The way we select election commissioners, information commissioners, lokayoks, human rights commissioners is a disaster. CBI, all of these, we have no process, no methodology, no criteria. This must become a transparent process, and if we do that, I think our institutions will improve. These are our checks and balances of democracy, which are going to cede. And every time we are talking of individual actions, I completely agree with Mr. Mithilesh and Vasudev. We must look at this issue of how do we get our commissioners of various kinds who will then ensure better governance, because then they will be independent truly. Just calling them independent doesn't work. We have a caged parrot in CBI, and this is across parties.
Yes.
It's not a monopoly of one party. A, B, C, D, they all do the same thing. They give away these jobs as an act of political patronage. And therefore, people who get selected are, by and large, not really fit to hold those positions. And therefore,
Right.
we need to change the way we select these people. Otherwise, we will not get accountability.
Well, I just want to point out to you that the caged parrot comment came from the Supreme Court about the CBI during the UPA 2 regime. So this has actually happened across governments. It's not about one specific government. The system is broken.
I'm aware.
Yes,
I'm aware.
yes. I
I'm
believe
aware.
that's what the panel is saying. The system is broken, and if your method of
How
choosing
much are you
candidates
going
is
to
wrong,
protect UPA, Faye?
yes. And
Faye,
Geeta
how
Bhatt.
many times are you going to protect UPA?
How
Has
am I-
it ever been that the Supreme Court has said CBI is a caged parrot, barring one instance? So stop protecting UPA and stop running this agenda.
Mr. Malik,
Silencing a voice is
You would
not
be-
the right kind of journalism, ma'am.
Mr. Malik, you are first of all welcome to leave if you are this upset. Secondly, you would be best advised to pay closer attention. What I
will not
said
leave. I am
was
not
that
as scared
the
as you are.
UPA 2 was the one
I
who
am not
caged
as
the
scared
CBI.
as You are, Faye.
Okay, all right, never mind.
I am not scared
Geeta
of
Bhatt,
anything.
Geeta Bhatt wanted to speak. We'd like to allow
We
Geeta
are
Bhatt to
honest
speak.
people.
Please
We
go
are
ahead,
not
Ms. Bhatt.
scared of-
Yeah, Faye, just a few examples, since you were talking that, it has happened many times. Like in 1984, Mr. Sajjan Kumar was given a ticket in spite of the Sikh massacre that took place, and in spite
Yes.
of everyone knowing what was his role. And finally, some justice has been done after 30 years. Please remember that.
Yes.
Secondly, there was a person called Bholenath Pandey who had actually hijacked a
That's
plane in
shameful,
77. I mean, just look at the gravity of crime, and he was called by the Congress party, given a ticket, and made a member of parliament after Indira Gandhi. This has also happened in this very own country, And one thing that I want to, not many people have seen it, but there is one Major Ramesh Upadhyay who has been on bail recently, who was also charged along, with Sadhvi Pragya and others, who has come out and categorically said that she was given, there was a lot of torture and she was shown objectionable kind of material in front of him. This is also a kind of statement that has come, and this is to counter what some lady called Sanyal is going around and, giving statements about Sadhvi Pragya. Also, as far as, certain examples like of JNU students organization was given, it is the same very JNU students organization which has vehemently opposed the implementation of Vishakha guidelines in JNU and has said that we want to go back to GCash system of, something for which every central
Geeta, but
university
please
has
stay on
adopted.
point.
They have been fighting tooth and nails that it should be as as 2014. So, I mean, these are some of the things I wanted to put forth in counter. Also, please, let us remember that we are forgetting that there is a place called West Bengal in this very own country. And what is happening there? It is the special officer from the Election Commission who's gone there. It is his statement that there is no democracy is in danger in West Bengal, and the situation is something which was there 2 decades back in Bihar. This is what is happening there.
All right, Geeta, but fair points. Allow the panel to respond.
Who are there, they have been transferred.
Okay.
Please don't forget, it is where you are talking of what someone has spoken, but the violence which is what has happened in Purulia. Have you seen that how...
Yes, I completely agree with you, Geeta, but I know that West Bengal upsets you a great deal, and I completely agree with you. We haven't... Okay, one second.
Please remember Dulal Kumar. Please remember Mahato. There are people like that. No one is talking about what is happening in West Bengal.
Okay. Now, let me just point out that Mr. Badshah Sen, who's sitting next to me, is from West Bengal. And we've talked about it repeatedly over the last 3 weeks. It's unlikely you're going to forget about West Bengal, are you?
No, I haven't forgotten about West Bengal. And not only about West Bengal as it is today under Mamata Banerjee, but also...
As it was under the left.
Under the left.
Which was similarly
this has been going on. In fact...
Yes, but I just want to point out, before we get derailed by that, yes, what's happening in West Bengal is horrid. Yes, what the Congress did with, with the Sikh riots was horrible, and the fact that justice was delayed was horrible, which is what we're pointing out. The system is broken, and just because the Congress committed those crimes doesn't make it okay to do them again today. The democracy at the end of the day is in our hands, and it is our responsibility to improve the system. At the end of the day, if your system of selection is wrong and weak, you will have a situation where parliament is garbage in, garbage out. You are putting people in parliament who are not fit to be there because your system is broken, and the laws that they write will be broken laws. Mr. Seth?
That's correct. I mean, there's nothing much more I can say about that. But I'm just saying that we've sort of gone out of focus. We've talked about West Bengal. About the only thing we didn't talk about was sinking the Bismarck. But what I'm trying to tell you is that I think we should stay focused on the present. And in this present, that this lady has confessed to having helped demolish the mosque. It's a simple question. If tomorrow Mamata Banerjee also confesses, I'll say that she should also go to jail. All right. The point is, at this moment, Mamata Banerjee not saying all this. This lady is saying it. And I do believe that some action should be taken. And if last week Aditya Nath could be silenced for 72 hours, surely she can be silenced also for 72 hours. Or is she bigger than Aditya Nath? Yes. He's a yogi, she's a sadhvi. So I don't know which one is bigger. But they both should be silenced, I think. That's what I think.
Well, we have run out of time, and we're going to keep bringing this up. I just have one request in conclusion to our audience at this point. Don't believe the varied arguments that you're getting right now about the Malegaon blast case. Read about it. Go back, and we have the good fortune of the internet, where you can go back and read newspaper articles and magazine articles that go back 10, 15 years. Read the stories of the investigation of the Malegaon blast case. Read the stories of the investigation of the Samjhauta Express. Read the stories of the investigation of the Makkah Masjid blast in Hyderabad, and make up your own mind. Having said that, right now our system is broken. People are saying things during campaigns that they shouldn't be saying. People are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And at this point, like we've pointed out in the past, the entire system is in suspended animation and in the hands of the Election Commission. There is only one active agency at this point, and that's the Election Commission. And it is doing precious little. It is actually putting out a very, very good imitation of a sleeping giant who doesn't care at all. It is the responsibility of the Election Commission to hold free and fair elections on a level playing field. It is also the responsibility of the Election Commission to make sure that the people who are given tickets hold themselves to a higher moral standard and remain deserving of those tickets. Because at the end of the day, when we put these people in Parliament, We are putting our country, our democracy, and our personal freedoms in their hands. The Election Commission at this point needs to introspect about the power it has and its failings. It needs to take action now. Thanks for watching.